All right, welcome back, guys. This is Dave Holman, aka Dynasty Dorks, and this is the SGPN Fantasy Football Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, presented to you by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET has exactly what you need to win. Sign up today. You bet $100, you're going to get $100 right back. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/WynnBET. That's SportsGamblingPodcast.com/WYNNBET. State restrictions apply. Again, we're doing our rookie draft series. We have our quarterbacks out of the way. We got some running backs out of the way, and we are doing our top receivers. This right here is our consensus wide receiver 3. This is Quentin Johnston. You saw him play in the national championship game, and Johnston is a big receiver. 6'4", 215. He's projected to be a mid-first round pick, maybe even a little higher, because he's really the only X receiver in this top group. He is a state medalist in the high jump, 4-star recruit, and he looks the part. You can see this year he had a great season, 60 receptions, 1,069 yards, 6 touchdowns with 17.8 yards per catch. And you can see the years before, he's always been a high yards per catch guy. 31% dominator rating. Brad, let's talk about Quentin Johnston.
Yeah, I mean, the first one's obvious, right? His first pro is that size-speed combination. Coming in at 6'4", 215, that's what you want to see in that prototypical, quote-unquote, X receiver. The second thing, this guy's got just over 100, we'll put it around 120-ish catches, career catches. The tackle breaking is legitimate. He has 45 career tackle breaks on that 120 target. So, I mean, this dude is hard to bring down. That's what I really like about him. He can catch the ball, he can body you, but he can also break a tackle in an open space, which is nice. And then the third thing, which is really something that I personally enjoy about wide receivers, is seeing year-to-year progression. Right? I don't like to see guys regress because then I start to wonder, okay, well, maybe because they took that extra workload, they're not really as good because they're seeing better competition. You saw Quentin Johnston continue to get better. 400 yards that freshman season, coming out with 600 in the next season, then over 1,000 this season. And people looked at me like, oh, man, TCU had a really good team. They went to the national title game. Like 1,000 yards ain't that much. But you got to remember they had a backup quarterback basically playing the season. So I really trust kind of the skill set a little bit. But there are some cons that can make you a little weary. And the first one is his release. He's not great at releasing at the line of scrimmage. And you kind of hope a guy this size is good at getting off press. I just didn't see it. Now I'm only about 4 games in, so there's many more to watch. So maybe there's some, I've seen other guys say, hey, he's good at that. I have not seen it in the 4 games I watched. I'm a little concerned at that those big corners that they're going to put on him, he's going to struggle getting off that press. The second one is he's not like this refined route runner, right? If you think about like Mike Williams, right? Those big body guys, they're not those guys that are going to wow you with their footwork and create separation with their route running because they're just kind of stiff and upright. Right. And you'll hear a lot of scouts talk about sinking their hips when they're going into route breaks and things like that. And you don't really see that out of Quentin Johnston. He's just a stiff, fast guy that, typically kind of uses his body. And then the last con is he does have a little bit of a disappearing act that I couldn't quite put my thumb on. Right. If you look, the first few games are not good. Right. And then he'll have a blow-up game. And he'll have a couple bad games. And he'll have a blow-up game. So it's very easy for him to kind of disappear a little bit. I think some of that has to do with the way TCU ran their offense this season a little bit. But there are some concerns there. Like, is he going to demand that target share that you want to see a true X and a top, we'll say 5 first-round dynasty rookie pick may demand? My player comp, people are going to probably hate this, but I really do see similarities in Chase Claypool with him. He's not as big as Chase Claypool is, right? Chase Claypool's almost, I think, 230 pounds almost. So he doesn't have that weight to him, but the style of play is very similar. He uses his size. He uses his speed to his advantage. He's pretty good at tackle breaking, but he's not going to just wow you on it, have this impressive route tree or anything like that. So that's my player comp. I apologize for those of you who don't like it.
and player comps are really just about play style and about body type. Obviously, when someone says this guy is not going to be the exact Claypool, hopefully he's better.
I hope not.
I like the Mike Williams call out as well. And so, going back to Quentin Johnston, we can look on the big board here and where he is against the receivers. And they have him as the top receiver in this class. And he is going as a top 12 pick. His highest was 7. And you can see here with Quentin Johnston, it's going down a little bit. And some of the spots for him, the Ravens, the Texans, the Ravens, the Patriots, and the Eagles. So, Brad, out of those spots, what are your thoughts when you see those?
I personally look. The Eagles make 0 sense to me. I don't know where that comes from. They just got AJ Brown. They drafted Devonta Smith. They paid Dallas Goedert. I'm just throwing that one out. We're not even looking at that. I already talked about how I don't want any wide receiver going to the Patriots. I get it. They've got Bill O'Brien back. They look good with him in the past. I just don't necessarily trust Mac Jones. I really like the Baltimore call. They need help there. We've seen Lamar be able to produce a good wide receiver with Rashad Bateman being healthy. I think add another weapon in that offense where now there's, they get J.K. Dobbins healthy. They've got Quentin Johnston on the outside as a deep threat. They got Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews. I feel like that would really help Lamar Jackson a little bit. And maybe just, hey, we go through the draft and Lamar says, you know what? Thank you for going and getting me another wide receiver. Let's get that deal done. Let's figure this out, right? So I really like the Baltimore Ravens at 21-22. That feels like a better spot for me for Quentin Johnston just because there are some question marks for me around him. So I think the back end of the first is a better spot for him.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you guys for checking out this episode. Make sure you check out our other episodes. You can look at our YouTube channel, SGPN Fantasy Football on YouTube, or you can go to your podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. Type in SGPN Fantasy Football. And, of course, likes, subscribes, comments. We really appreciate any support we get. That's all I got.
Cheers.